And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert hosts, Edward Ed Parcaut, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. We'll give you something to chew on. Real Estate Jerky is on now.
That's my California.
Thanks for joining us here on Real Estate Jerky. I'm your host, Ed Parcaut, veteran and president of Lending for Living, along with my new, I can't say co-host anymore, but I'm doing it anyway. Thank you, Mike Kelly, for being here. He's the RE/MAX executive realtor here in Modesto, keeping you up to date on things real estate and what's happening in our communities. Our studio is right here in Modesto at Lending for Living with our engineer, Mike Murray, and the incredible radio signal, iHeartMedia, and the station, KFIV. We always bring you something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky. If you have questions, you can call or text me at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. Or email me at radio@realestatejerky.com. Mike, thanks for being here again today on Real Estate Jerky. I appreciate you being here.
It's always my pleasure, Ed.
Hey, do you know we're talking about solar today?
Did we?
No, we're going to be talking about solar today.
Oh, are we?
Yes.
Good.
The sun's out. It's hot.
Guns out.
Well, it's definitely hot out.
Probably perfect time to make some electricity.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of it being brewed out there, I guess, with the sun out. This week has been one of the hottest weeks we've had for a while.
I love it.
I'm glad you love it.
I do.
Yeah. Do you know who we're having on today?
I think we're having Mel Bradley.
Yes, that is correct.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah. We've had him on a couple times, and he's always gave some really important information about solar.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was perfect to have him come back with that anti-inflation act or whatever it was called coming out, and the new changes with solar. So I wanted him to tell us about it.
The redo Inflation Act.
Yeah, make it worse Inflation Act.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, that one. All right, what's going on? Anything new in real estate? Nope.
Okay. No. Homes are selling like crazy still. Buyers have got a perfect opportunity to purchase without so much competition. So real estate market is, how you say in my country, very good.
Yeah, and we talk about this all the time during the week, but it's a kinder, gentler industry right now with
real estate market. Yeah.
So much. Everybody's working together to sell their homes, and I think it's a great time.
Read some articles the other day about the builders wanting to get out of the market and not build so many homes right now because of inflation.
Well, the costs are, that's the reason we are not building our place up in the hills is, 40% more cost. That's even if it was a $500,000 cost, that's almost like $2,000.
Yeah.
I'm 200,000.
200,000 grand.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you're talking to my grandkid.
Yeah. I must be not in this mortgage industry because I don't know numbers
or percentages.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw a thing on TikTok how to do the percentage. Like, what's 7%?
Move the decimal.
Yeah, 7% of 280 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
20, and it was like times this by this and this, and times this by this, and that's how you figure it out. It was like that was so much easier than the way I do it, which is dividing it. I
was that part of the new math, the new core logic?
No, actually, have you seen how? And I'm not real big on China, but how China does math is so totally different than how we do it, and it makes it smarter sometimes. It makes it so much easier, and we got to make it more difficult so that our parents look stupid.
Is that why they're doing it?
Yeah, so they have to go to the teacher to figure it out.
Yeah.
Common Core and all that stuff. Yeah. It's like
kids come home from school.
I have no idea what this is. Let's do the old way. We can't do it the old way, Paul.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Yeah, that's like
can't help you.
Dog walks into the bar and he's like missing a leg. He's like, "Have you seen my paw?"
Oh, Jesus.
I just hope. Sorry, it was a bad joke that I had.
No rim shot.
I can add one, but let's move on. All right. Yeah, rates again this week up, down, all over the place. They're going to be like this for a while. This is a normal market. We talked about it last week when we were at an event and somebody said, I used to be a mortgage broker.
As he's drinking his scotch.
Oh yeah, that's stuff from Glenn Ross.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, this market's so horrible. No, this is the market. This is how it normally is. It's usually we talked about this before. It's like you go into orchard, you can pick the fruit on the bottom real easy, and that's what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years. It's like anybody. Oh, you want? Yeah, I can get you home. Oh, you want? Yeah, you qualify. You make minimum wage. Yeah, we can get you in with the rate so low.
Yeah. Now you got to kind of work for it, don't you?
Now you actually have to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why when the rates went up, it took 9 million people out of the market.
9 million?
Yep.
Was that a decimal?
Nationwide.
All nationwide.
Yeah, not just California.
You got
We only
nationwide
have
is
40.
on your side.
Yeah, well, they're not paying for the show,
No
so
kidding.
take that out.
Okay.
We have 40 million people in California, so yeah, that's a lot of people in California. So there's still people who can buy.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you were saying nationwide.
Right, because a lot of people want to know why it's so much harder. I talked to some people the other day, and they were like, "We want to buy. We're tired of renting." All right, well, how much do you make? We're retired. I have Social Security. How much did that add it all up? It was like $2,800.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. What, do you have a car payment? $750. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, hey, how do you like Midwest?
Yeah. Georgia,
Yeah.
Tennessee,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Actually, you can go to Detroit and get some cheap houses.
No kidding.
Yeah, I saw a show on one.
You do have to be in Detroit.
I know you have to live there. That's the only downside.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some very inexpensive homes you could see there, and I was like, wow, that's just. But you got to live here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and you're on a fixed income. I guess it could work, but oh my God.
Yeah. Hey, this is Real Estate Jerky here. If you got questions for us, you can reach out by dialing 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. Or you can reach us at email at radio Real Estate Jerky, or text the word jerky to 33777. I can see why you had a problem with that.
Yeah. Jerky.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you pay what you get. Pay for what you get.
You get what you pay for?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my Lord.
I tell you, we're,
cheap help.
I know it's hard to get really good help these days.
It is.
And I hear
Nobody
we have a
wants to
lot of
work.
jobs, and we're going to see that's going to potentially. They're saying with the fact that we're going to have a recession and inflation, we're going to have stagflation, which is not fun at all.
Yeah.
And that's not a horse thing.
Stagflation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, or the
where the Oh my gosh.
We're going downhill from here.
Yeah, tapering.
Yeah, well, it's gotta have fun while we're on it. We did get a compliment that a couple of people said they liked the last shows because we were doing a little bit more real estate. Well,
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we can
talking about the market, what's going on, and today with Mel Bradley coming on, we're gonna talk solar, which is really important because I see a lot of people, I don't want to say get taken advantage of in the past with all the, when they were pushing the solar deals.
But they were.
Yeah. You have a 1,200 square foot house. Yeah. You should have solar on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's got to make sense and pencil. And if MID and TID does not pay you when you give it back to them, that's just bad.
And, I've been hearing a lot about the Tesla walls, the power walls.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to learn a little bit more about that. Maybe we'll have some little bit of information on those things. So
yeah, because I think I told you, and I'll bring it up then, is as I walk over the trail, I see that one on that one house. It's really, it's like, really there's a Tesla power. And
I think I know which place you're talking about. And I think I was blown away as well. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Who did that guy talk to? And I want to know who that salesman is. Maybe he should get into real estate.
Yeah. Well, maybe he shouldn't.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. We want professional people in a professional industry.
Well,
yeah. So maybe
that's,
sell
you
insurance.
know what? You got a good point there. Maybe you should become a loan officer.
Nope. Again, we want professionals in this industry.
I just had to mess with you too.
I know. We create one of the largest debts in your life. We have a professional responsibility how we manage that debt. It's not, something that you want to just, I know.
Yeah. I just wanted to do that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The power
of listening to the finger
of solar.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. Anyway, solar is important, but I think it just, I can't believe every home in California new has to have it on there and it's not paid for in the house. You have to pay for it separately. That's just, I think, ridiculous.
Yep. You've got questions about real estate and mortgages, so reach out to us at 209-404-1915 or email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. You can also get exclusive info simply by texting jerky to 33777. When we come back, we'll be talking to Mel Bradley of Mel Bradley Solar and Electric about residential solar, batteries, and some very important information regarding solar and the Inflation Reduction Act currently being discussed. If you have solar or are thinking about solar, you don't want to miss this here on Real Estate Jerky and PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. We'll be right back.
You can change the way you live out the rest of your life with our new reverse mortgage products from Lending for Living. Our loan limits are the highest available. Call us today at 209-846-9270 or visit lendingforliving.com.
Welcome back. I'm Mike Kelly, your new co-host here at Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. Joining us right now is our go-to solar expert and professional for all things solar, Mel Bradley of Mel Bradley Solar and Electric. Howdy, Mel.
Good morning.
Hey, Mel, thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you coming in on Real Estate Jerky. You've been here a few other times, and you've always given us some really good information on solar, and I wanted you back because I know there's going to be some changes in solar, and I wanted to let our people know about that.
Yeah, it's definitely about to change, I think.
Okay. I kind of want to give people your background so they know who you are. I know you retired from PG&E. Is that correct?
That's right. 40 years.
Whoa.
40.
How old are you?
He's only 10. He started when he was 15.
I'm sorry to admit I'm 74.
No way.
Wow. Don't look 74. More like 85.
Yeah, there you go.
Ouch.
No, I think that the other thing you do, the helping the cancer ride, basically, I think helps you stay young, right? Because I think if you look back at our parents and other people, they didn't exercise after they hit like 27, and then they're now with us exercise as much as we do, we look so much better, I think, except for me, but everybody.
Well, I don't know about the looking part, but I'm doing better than my folks or my grandparents at this age. So
yeah. Well, that's the most important thing. Hey, since you work for PG&E, what's this? Let's talk a little bit about that. Just a little bit about what's the status of PG&E right now with everything that's going on.
Well, I think they're trying to put the train back on the track as far as running a utility the way a utility needs to be run. It was one of the reasons I ended up retiring from PG&E is I wasn't comfortable with the direction, and couple that with all the climate change, in my opinion anyway, meaning fires and droughts and all this kind of stuff. And it made for a perfect storm, so to speak. And I think they now have figured out that you really need to do maintenance work and tree trimming and all of those kinds of things if you're going to run a utility in California. And I really think they're trying hard to turn the corner and put, as I said, put the train back on the track the way it's supposed to be.
Right. Last weekend before last, we had MID board of directors on, and he was talking about, I don't know if you know this, but 25% of the water that's used is human consumption. That's it. 75% is done by industry, farming, everything. So conservation is not going to fix the problem. And he was saying that if we actually manage the forest, we would stop the fires and we would have more water going through and going down. And so it's important to, and the reason I brought that up, because you said for them to trim trees. Well, they also get fought to trim these trees by environmentalists and other people. So it's a catch-22. We want to trim them. No, you can't. And now, you caused a fire and now we're coming after you.
Yeah, it's an interesting aside. My grandparents on my dad's side were big conservationists, Sierra Club members, were heavily involved in procuring what we now know as Calaveras big trees, both the North Grove and the South Grove. But my grandfather was an early advocate of prescribed burning for just the reasons that you were talking about, to reduce the fuel load, to reduce the water load. Everybody thought he was nuts, including a lot of the people that were in the Sierra Club with him. But he pretty much, I think, was a little ahead of his time in saying, we need to be doing this or the consequences will be dire. And we're now learning that lesson.
Well, we see that, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you have two choices. We can either manage it or watch it burn. And and as long as they want to use these little burns and lack of water for their political advancement, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little political.
Yeah, you have a tendency to do that, Ed, and that's one of the things I love about you.
All right, so you've been in solar how long?
I retired from PG&E in 2003. Took about 6 months for my wife to decide that I needed to find something else to do besides be around the house.
Get out of the house.
So,
oh my God, you're still here?
Yeah. And it dawned on me. I had done all the honeydew things that she needed done, and I clearly was not cut out to sit down and watch Oprah the rest of my life.
Oh my
So,
God, who is?
and so,
What about The View? Since you brought that up.
Oh, jeez. So,
Kill me
so I
now.
went and it was actually an electrician that used to be when I was a little kid. That was my neighbor, and he would drag me out on jobs and teach me things and kind of cultivate my interest in electricity. So I ended up getting a degree in electrical engineering, went to work for PG&E, retired as a vice president, all those things, and decided that getting back outside, working with my hands, working with tools would be a good thing to do. So I went and got my contractor's license in 2003, and have been started out doing wiring of homes and things like that. And about 2006, the solar thing started coming on the scene, and I said, I'm wondering, I was looking at my own electric bill and saying, ooh, I wonder what I could do here. And the rest is history. That's pretty much what I do now, is all solar.
We're talking with Mel Bradley of Mel Bradley Solar and Electric. If you got questions for us, you can reach out by dialing 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. And you can reach us at lendingforliving.com. You can also email us at radio@realestatejerky, or text the word jerky to 33777 and get on our newsletter. Mel, so you do mainly ground mounted solar now, correct?
Ground mounted solar for the most part.
It's safer, isn't it?
Well, that was the first solar I did, as I mentioned earlier, was on my roof, which is a pretty steep tile roof. I decided right then and there I didn't like roofs.
Yeah.
So that took me in the direction of solar and ground mounted solar.
Did you get a good deal on that roof?
Yeah. I mean, actually, back in those days, solar was a little bit expensive. It's kind of like, we'll talk about batteries a little bit later, but it's kind of like where batteries are now. It was new and it was expensive. It's gotten a lot less expensive over time. But it was still, even being a spendy solar system, has saved me a hell of a lot of money over time.
You know, I want to stay with the battery thing because I talked to you about this before. If you walk over the Briggsmore overpass, right, and you're doing that trail and you look over to the right, you see a big Tesla pack on the side of this house.
Okay.
The house is probably 350, 400, maybe if you're lucky. I want to know who sold, and it's probably 1,200, not even 1,200 square feet. It's like, why do they have that on there?
Maybe they work for Tesla.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Let's try this out on this house.
Well, it's just like, that's a lot. I mean, they used to be 10 grand. I think they're now 5,500 to 6 grand. I don't know how much they are, but
they're still around $1 a kilowatt hour. So I mean, $1 a kW. So if it's a 10K pack Tesla sitting on that wall, it's probably still in the neighborhood. $10,000.
Wow. That's what the K stands for, right?
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like, that's a waste. I think it's a waste of money. I know you have a rule when it comes to what size of a house should have solar on it and all that. Because for me, we only have a 1,900 square foot house, or even with our new air conditioner, our bill's not too crazy. My wife complains, but I won't get into the whole fact now where she's in life where she wants it really cool in the house. We'll just leave it at that. And I'm freezing now, where before I couldn't get to 71, and now for some reason we're at 68 at night. We'll just move on, because thank goodness she doesn't listen to the show.
I hope you're in MID then.
Yes, we are. Yeah. And that's the other thing. So 2 things. When does it make sense? And MID, TID does not give you any rebates or anything, so it doesn't really make sense in Modesto and Turlock, correct?
For the most part, it doesn't within MID and TID, for 2 reasons. One, MID's base rates are lower, and then MID it gives you very little for anything you send back to the grid. And so that combination, it's part of what leads to batteries is, okay, if the utility is not going to give me anything for the extra power I'm making with my solar system, then I better store it so that I can use it later in the day. So that's what leads to batteries. I do think batteries will become more and more prevalent over time, but I think it's a little early yet to jump out and hang one of those on your wall.
What do you think, in another 5 years?
Yeah, probably at the max. I'm thinking 2 or 3 more years, probably something like that. Yeah. especially if they change the rates structure.
Do you want to get into that now? Since you
we
brought it up?
can.
See, we don't have to lead him anywhere. He just
Oh, I know. He
talks
just
it right
goes. He
there.
goes. He goes.
So backing up a little bit, in the current environment, with the big utilities, with Southern Cal Edison, San Diego Gas Electric, and PG&E, the basic function of solar is almost like a checking account. It's part of the day you're using power, and part of the day you're putting power back in. And so if you think about like a checking account, hopefully over the course of a day, it comes out about zero. The proposed change, and we call that a retail transaction, meaning when you use electricity, you're paying the hourly retail rate, and when you put power back into the grid, you're paid the same hourly retail rate. There's a proposal now with the Public Utilities Commission, which regulates the big utilities in California, state agency, that they want to change that to where you'll still get charged for anything you use, but at the retail rate, but you're only going to get wholesale for anything that that you send back to the grid. So instead of getting 30 cents, let's say, for anything you make, it's probably going to be more like 5. And at that point, the solar equation doesn't work anymore. You can't put in enough solar to make that come out financially with a return on investment that's anything worth a darn.
Right. All right. So what you're saying is, unless you can use the batteries, right, to store your own power, it really doesn't make sense. And I want to get into the the investment, the new thing that came through, the Inflation Reduction Act, or the BBB, whatever you want to call it. I want to get into that, but before we get there.
This is Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with our host, Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living, or Living for Lending. Reach out to Ed by dialing 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. I'm Mike Kelly with Remax Executive and your new co-host for today. And we're talking to Mel Bradley of Mel Bradley Solar and Electric about the current and future state of customer-owned solar systems and a bunch more. Stick around and get information you won't find anywhere else when we come back.
Our new reverse mortgage product limits can change the way you live out the rest of your life.
Glad you're back with us here on Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. I'm Mike Kelly, your co-host, and today's show with Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran, mortgage expert, and president of the for Lending for Living. We're talking to Mel Bradley of Mel Bradley Solar and Electric. Mel, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. You're giving some great information out there.
I got a couple questions when we get
Go
a
ahead.
little bit further into it.
Go ahead.
Mel, back in the day when solar was first coming out and the powers that be thought it was a great idea to do a PACE or a hero loan, where you add the cost of the improvements, the solar improvements, onto your taxes as a super lien, or not your taxes, but as a super lien in front of your taxes. What are your thoughts on that on that program?
Can I just add to that, because that's their property taxes we're talking about?
Yeah,
correct?
property taxes.
Just so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, that has changed. So when you put solar on your house now, or on your business for that matter, by law, it cannot be taxed and added to your property assessment. There are a couple of bills right now in the legislature here in California to change that back to where it would be taxed, but I don't see them passing.
Okay.
So are you mean being taxed where it's actually taxed on you, or are you talking about where it can be put into your property tax? No, I just want to be clear.
The issue was, let's say you put a $30,000 solar system on your $500,000 house, then your new property assessment theoretically would be $530,000. It is not. It stays at $500,000.
I think what Mike's talking about is there's a hero loan where actually you included that $30,000 in payments as added to your tax bill, kind of like it became a
super lien. It wasn't part of your taxes. It was just added to your tax bill. the thing was, how they sold the PACE and the Hero loans was these are fully assumable. However, they're not fully. They are if you pay cash. If the new buyer pays cash for the property, you can fully assume the PACE and the Hero loan and the equipment and all that stuff. But if you're getting a new loan, the lender does not want to see that superior lien on the property, which is in front of their lien. So we had a lot of hard dealings with that for a while. So if that's starting to go away and they're just doing like a power purchase agreement, a PPA, do you think that's a little bit better? And then Ed's question before was, where do you pencil out when you put solar on? Where do you pencil out? What do you need to be for your expense on what you paid? What do you need to be saving in your electric bill?
Yeah. So the number I typically use, if you're a PG&E customer in this area anyway, is $3,000. So if
a year, right?
Yeah. So if your bill is north of $3,000 a year, then, and you're a PG&E customer, then I think you should be thinking about solar. If your bill is less than $3,000 a year, I think the payback becomes too long.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was waiting for more. It's like,
Well, no,
I was like, do I have time to divide 3,000 by 12 and figure that out? What that number is? It's $250 a month. Isn't everybody PG? That's an electric bill, $250 a month.
No. There are a lot of customers out there, especially in smaller homes and things like that, that their electric bill won't be $3,000 a month. I run into it quite a bit.
Well,
I can tell you right now.
I'm sorry, $3,000 a year. Sorry.
I can tell you right now, ours is over $250.
Yeah.
In MID, but when does it make sense in an MID and TID area?
It doesn't.
Okay.
And
I see a lot of solar in our area.
I know, but
so are you saying unscrupulous people technically came out and sold to people and told them what there's a great deal? And when I walk by them at Costco, I should tell them, get the hell out of my Costco.
Yeah, that's basically,
Whoops, I said an H word on the radio. I apologize. There, Mike, take that out.
That's basically what I'm saying. I will not do it. Another way of answering your question is I want a solar system to pay for itself in no more than 5 years.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay. So that's a different way to do the math, I guess. Yeah. I want an ROI of 5 and under.
Okay.
And so it turns out that the other metric is you can use $3,000 as a good way to test that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want what you would have paid PG&E over the course of the next 5 years to pay off your solar system in toto. Okay.
Okay.
If you can do that, then I think you're making a good investment. If it gets beyond 5 to where you're getting the 6, 7, I guess it's a little bit of personal taste. But at some point you're crossing a red line out there that says that's a dumb investment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So,
okay.
Sorry, I'm still stuck thinking of Toto.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's right, Mel. So with that being said, again, it makes no sense if it doesn't pencil within 5 years and pays for itself. That's your rule, and that's what most people should have a rule. But there was people who were selling these things to people, and they're not going to pencil for 10 to 15 years. And by then, how long does solar panels last?
Solar systems by law have to last at least 20 years. The law in California is that the solar system has to still be performing at 90% of nameplate at 10 years and 80% of nameplate at 20 years.
Wow.
And that has to be part of the warranty package that you give the customer when you put in the solar system.
Okay.
So they last quite a while. Now, obviously, we're just now starting to come up on 20 years of panels that have actually been there 20 years.
So we're seeing the test, right?
So we're seeing the test. And for the most part, the solar panels are performing the way they were anticipated to perform. They usually will lose about 0.5% a year of production.
How often should you go up on the roof and clean those suckers up?
Yearly. Well, that's the big thing that people kind of don't think about. But especially in this part of the valley where we get so much dust, and with the fires, we get all the particulate matter and stuff on top of that. But particularly here in the valley, when we get into harvest time and all the dust that goes with that, you need to be washing them about every 4 to 6 weeks.
All right. Hey, we're talking to Mel Bradley here at Mel Bradley Solar and Electric. If you got questions for us here at Real Estate Jerky, you can reach out by dialing 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or you can email us at radio@realestatejerky, or you can text the word jerky to 33777. Get on our thing. Oh my goodness. What am I talking about before we went? Washing. So,
and I wanted to add,
has anybody made a kit yet to spray up there so you can wash them and you don't have to get on the roof and fall?
Mel, is that a service that you guys provide, or
no?
Will you think about providing?
No.
You don't want to go on the roof again?
No.
Especially with soap?
Hey, I want to,
but it's one of the things real quick that customers need to think about. If you have the option of putting solar on the ground, that's one of the major reasons to do it, because otherwise somebody, either you or somebody else, is going to be on your roof every 6 weeks, which turns out to be 4 or 5 times a year with our long summers.
wow.
Between rain will keep them clean. Okay. But if we don't get rain, then you got to go up there and wash the darn thing.
Can't you Scotch guard them?
Yeah.
I've had that spray that keeps the water spots off.
Yeah,
Spray on that.
I've had a customer that's tried that. I haven't heard back how it worked out. So
Let us know.
He fell to the ground.
yeah.
He got it on the roof and he was gone. All right. So let's kind of get into the Increased Inflation Act that was just signed into law. I'm sorry. It was not increased, but that's what it's going to do.
Wow. No politics here.
No, because not all of us agree, but most of us agree the only way to get out of inflation is to cut spending, cut taxes. You can't spend your way out of it. Right. It just doesn't work. You can look at the 70s and figure that out. But nobody likes history. So how is that affecting? Go ahead.
I love it.
You love history?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you remember not to repeat things. How is because I see that solar investment tax credit, part of that thing is to be extended for 10 years at 30%. So that's the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. How is that going to affect us, Mel?
Well, it depends on whether you're in California or not. And it kind of
we are in California, because you can tell us how it's going to affect us in California.
Just a slight bit of history.
Do I have to get tested on this?
Originally, the investment tax credit was 30%, which means if you went out and spent $10,000 on a solar system, you had immediately a $3,000 tax credit, not deduction. This is a tax credit. For the next time you file your income taxes. And that was that way for a number of years, like 15 years or so. But it was set to expire in 2020 and go to zero. And Biden decided to try and...
We forget his name too.
Yeah,
so does he.
He
actually occasionally does.
He calls himself Mama.
You just don't want one of those ice cream trucks go by when you stand there, because he's on if it's there.
Wanted to do something to try and extend it. So as you said, Ed, as part of this recent legislation, I guess it was just signed yesterday.
Yeah, there was 4 people there.
Yeah.
There was 5 actually standing next to him. Usually there's a ton of people. There's only 5.
The investment tax credit for solar, and it also rolls over into electric cars and does a number of things, was extended for another 10 years at 30%. So
that's more now than before.
No, that's what it was.
What it was before.
Okay.
Yeah. They just extended it.
Because you said originally you get so if you had a 30,000 thing, then you get 9. You would get $9,000.
Right. That's right. Okay. I was using 10 and 30, but yeah,
it's easier math.
I know, but yeah, I can figure. I'm in mortgages.
Yeah.
So anyway, so from that standpoint, it's good news. The asterisk I put it by it is what we were talking about earlier, and maybe we could talk a little bit about timing, because I think that's important to our listeners. Right now, as I mentioned earlier, the commission is in the throes of changing the price structure to where you'll only be receiving wholesale prices, which is around $0.05, for anything you export back to the grid. And therefore, that's all you're going to get credited on your bill is the 5 cents when you're getting charged 30 cents when you use it.
Yeah.
So the process right now is that they originally were going to vote on this in January. The governor stepped in and said, I am not happy with this package and I want you to do some more work on it. So that postponed the vote.
And
to September.
And we were talking about that you're only going to get 5% versus the retail, or is it currently
5
that
cents.
way? 5 cents.
5 cents
versus retail prices, correct?
Correct.
And is that the way it is now, or is that the way
No.
it was going to go? Okay.
No.
I just want to clarify for people listening.
So the vote as to whether to change it from right now today, you get 30 cents if you make it, 30 cents if you use it. Okay, it's that game. The vote to change that from a 30-30 deal to a 35-cent deal is scheduled right now. The commission's being a little tight-lipped about this, but the guess is it's going to be in mid to late September. And anything they vote on can't go into effect for 120 days. So you do the math on all that. It basically says that this new policy, if adopted by the commission in mid-September, pay attention to the news if you're at all interested in doing solar, would be going into effect around the first of the year. So what all that means is if you're at all interested in putting in solar, solar makes sense based on the numbers we were talking about a little earlier for you, you really need to try and get it done between now and the end of the year. If you're not interested in solar, then forget it. But if you want solar, you've been thinking about solar, I would get going.
So if this thing changes to where we only get wholesale rates, right? Then at that point, it would make no sense if you don't have because new homes have to have solar, period.
Right.
Which isn't included in the price, which shocked me. I mean, you have to pay for it separately or you have to lease it, which I should have. If you're buying a new home, include it in the price of the home. Make it like the refrigerator, the stove, everything else. If you're by law have to have it, make it in the price.
or the sprinklers.
But like you said, you don't get taxed on it though. That's why they probably don't add it to the price, right, Mel?
I don't know. I've stayed away from that whole deal. And so I'm not as familiar with exactly, I know about the new home requirement and you got to have it. I actually didn't know that it wasn't included in the price. I thought it was. So.
No, if you go buy a new home, they're like, okay, now you have to add solar and it's going to be separate. We'll put it on for you, but you have to pay for the lease or the purchase of it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so it's okay. To me, that was like, what? I didn't know because I had clients who bought new homes. But what I'm getting at, if you have an older home, and we only get wholesale rates, it makes no sense to put solar on at that point, unless the batteries are very inexpensive to where then you can have batteries, store your own electricity, and don't need anything from the grid.
You've got the picture. That's exactly the way it looks to me.
Wow.
Interesting. Always something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. If you have questions or comments, please dial us at 209-404-1915. Message us on Facebook, Instagram, or email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. You can even text us now. Just text the word jerky to 33777.
You can change the way you live out the rest of your life with our new reverse mortgage products from Lending for Living. Our loan limits are the highest available. Call us today at 209-846-9270 or visit lendingforliving.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. I'm Mike Kelly, your co-host on today's show with Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living.
Well, that was a lot of solar information we had, wasn't it?
I felt like a flare.
Did you? I wanted to keep you back, kind of talk about your nonprofit that you do. I almost did it one year and then I got hurt. So you want to talk about what you do for your nonprofit?
Yeah, sure.
Team and training. What is it called?
Yeah, team and training. Just a brief background. I lost my wife to leukemia in 2005. Turns out the Leukemia Society has a fundraising branch called Team and Training. Basic deal is they'll spend 18 weeks training you to do any number of things, run a marathon, do a triathlon, or in my world, ride a bike around Lake Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing that. I lost her, if I said it again, in 2005. I started doing this in 2006. So I've been at it a few years now. And
that's why you look so young.
That's why I look so young. So what we do, we have a local team here, in this area. I live in Oakdale, but the name of the team is Team 209. And we named it that because that's pretty much the area we draw from, is the 209 area code.
Are you going to add the next area code that's coming in?
No,
209
I am not.
Demon training.
315.
So,
Do you have hand signs when you do the 209?
yeah, there you go. Actually, we did a highway road sign this year as a helmet topper that said Highway 209. So
Awesome.
Anyway, yeah. But when I first started out, the first team I had was only about a dozen riders, and we raised about $40,000 for the Leukemia Society, and all the money goes to cancer research, particularly the thing that the Leukemia Society has invested in over time is a new way to treat cancer called immunotherapy. And the idea is to put a marker basically on your cancer cells that lets your body see it as something that should not be there, and then attack it. So the idea is to program your immune system to fight your cancer for you. Obviously, your immune system wasn't doing that or isn't doing that, or you wouldn't have cancer in the first place.
Right.
It's turning out to be a revolutionary treatment. No chemo, no radiation. And if you think about the Leukemia Society, the reason they started down this road, or one of the reasons they started down this road, is if you have blood cancer, it's everywhere. You
Right.
can't just operate on it. You can't just radiate the spot. It's everywhere in your body. And so it made them think differently about how to attack it. It's turning out that immunotherapy is working. And it's not only working well, survival rates for blood cancers have radically changed in the last 10 or 15 years. But now the solid tumor guys are looking at this same idea. So the breast cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, you name it,
Well,
guys.
that's cool.
And it's turning out that the same idea is they're having success in fighting solid tumor cancers as well. So I'm going to keep doing this as long as this whole body will do it. In the ensuing years since I started this team, I've now trained over 500 riders, and we've raised over $2.5 million out of this local community.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, especially this community.
yeah.
And I'm not saying it because our community gives a lot, but just
It does.
it's a small community compared
It
to the
is.
big. I mean, that's against the Bay Area ones and
Yeah.
the other places. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, no competitive nature in me,
No, not at all.
but we have been the top fundraising team in the nation for this ride around Lake Tahoe for 7 of the last 8 years. So yeah, we're going up against
I
other
just got chill bumps.
Yeah.
other markets, and it's rather phenomenal the generosity of this community and how much they donate.
And now you've been doing cycling, right? And that's around Lake Tahoe, but now you're thinking about doing a mountain bike thing. Is
I
that
am.
correct?
It's I am always trying to grow the program and think about how could we raise even more money each year. And I'm starting to think about mountain biking, and maybe we're still in the analysis or exploring phase right now. But I'm trying to think about maybe having 2 teams next year. We'll have a road bike team that will ride around Tahoe like we've always done. And we may well have a mountain bike team that will do a mountain bike ride at Tahoe on the same weekend, if I can make this all happen.
Gotcha. How do people join?
Team209.org is our website. You can find out more than you ever wanted to know about what we've done, how we've done it, and all of those kinds of things. So you could go there, and my information is there as well. Again, you can call me at 209-765-7009. I'd be happy to talk about it.
One more time. 209.
765-7009.
Because when people start to write the phone number, you have to, they're like, what did he say? I forgot that.
And
All
our
right.
training program, right now, we're kind of in the off season, if you will. It's an 18-week training program. I'll spend 18 weeks training you. And the usual comment is, I can't ride around the block. What do you mean around the lake? And if you give me 18 weeks of your time, I will have you going around that lake and raising some money for a really, really good cause. We start training in early February for a June ride.
All right. So there you go.
Great.
So if you want to get out there, want to get in and help Mel and the team out and do a good thing, get in contact with them. And I started it 1 year, but I wasn't able to finish it because I don't finish things that I start.
But you and your company, Ed, have been a great supporter, and I appreciate that.
Oh, well, it's our pleasure. Mike, you used to do road biking, right? You kind of gave it up.
Yep.
Well,
because
you don't like to get hit by people.
I
right?
got tired of being hit by side view mirrors and things like that.
I got hit by a Gatorade bottle once. When I was doing my triathlon training, and I'm out there off Oakdale, way out there, and all of a sudden this white, big truck comes by and throws a Gatorade bottle, hits me in the helmet. Luckily, it was not full.
Yeah, that would have head over tea kettle.
Yeah, well, I tried to catch him. I almost caught him.
Yeah,
no, I'm serious because you can only go so fast, and there's a lot of stop signs and everything else to get their license plate number.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't catch him.
No.
Can't we all just get along?
No, we can.
Yeah,
it's just some of those people. Time just flies when we're having fun. So,
and this has been fun.
Yes, it has. I want to thank again Mel Bradley of Mel Bradley Solar and Electric for stopping by here on Real Estate Jerky. You can always reach out to Mel at 209-765-7009. That's 209-765-7009. Thank you for tuning in each week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, that's easy. Just Google Real Estate Jerky and take your pick. Web, social media, email, or you can call me direct at 209-404-1915. And you can also email us at Radio Real Estate Jerky. Mike, how do they get in touch with you?
Oh, they can call me at 209-968-5633. That's 209-968-5633.
And you can join us here on Real Estate Jerky, where we always give you something to chew on every Saturday at 12 noon and Sundays at 10 a.m. here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. And again, Mike, thanks for joining me again as our co-host.
Thanks for having me. Am I now no longer probationary?
Yeah, we got rid of that.
Okay.
That was last week. You're totally different. And again, thank you for listening.
'Cause we got small town.